James, why have you written this resource?
Thanks, Di. So I think there are three things that's been behind this resource, which we've been working on now for about a year. For those of you who haven't seen it, here it is, How to Nurture a Faith-Sharing Culture. It's a book, but it's an awful lot more than just a book as well. And I'll try and explain more about that in a moment. But there are three things really behind the creation of it. The first is really about opportunity. As we've reflected during this last couple of years, we sense that there is a real opportunity for us in the UK and Ireland with around faith sharing. And that's partly because of the pandemic. We've used a little phrase towards the end of the pandemic period last year, where we talked about people have been opened up, churches have been loosened up, and Christians have been stirred up. And the research shows that that is the case, that people in our countries have been opened up to wider issues, bigger questions, spiritual things. There are other things that are also influencing that, climate change, the big issues of our time, Black Lives Matter, and of course, Ukraine going on at the moment. People are asking all sorts of questions about the world in which we live. So I think we are in a season of opportunity. The second reason, Di, is that if I can put it sort of fairly bluntly, in our work, we've discovered that most churches don't find encouraging faith sharing easy. Some of you all know the Anglican 5 marks of mission, which looks at 5 different aspects of mission. And one of those is evangelism, and 4 others are other aspects of mission. And generally speaking, churches in the UK are doing reasonably well at some of the other marks, but the one they most struggle with is the evangelism mark. It's the sharing of faith mark. And now to share the results of that little poll we've done, I hope that you can see on your screen. If you just scroll down to the second question, you'll see that amongst us as a group, there's a very small number of people who are, finding it core to how they operate as the church is about faith sharing. So there's some struggles out there, and there's a whole range of reasons for that, a whole variety of things. And you may want to ask me more about those in the Q&A time later on. And then the third thing is, if I can just be honest, it's about God's leading. We've been praying over the last couple of years about what does God want us to be focusing on at CPAS. And some of you will be aware, we've come up with these 4 prayers that we're praying for the church, that every church would be a pathway to faith, every leader a catalyst for evangelism, every Christian a courageous witness, and every child would have a chance to explore Jesus. And as we've been praying these things for the church, we've been working on a range of things that we might offer to help some of these things become reality. So we've created some materials for PCCs to use to help them think about the ministry of evangelism in the life of the PCC. We've created a leading evangelism learning hub that churches can use to help them as they explore stuff. And now we've created this new resource, How to Nurture a Faith-Sharing Culture. So there's a sense in which we feel this is part of what God has led us to. And we've been doing work in a range of different areas around this to help us resource, hopefully, churches in the sharing of faith.